Captain Jake Morrison looked out at the dark space beyond Neptune. His ship, the UE's Horizon, was the first human vessel to travel this far from Earth. The mission was simple: explore, map, and report back. Nobody expected to find anything special. "Out here, Captain, I'm getting something strange," said Lisa Grant from her station. She was the ship's communications officer, and her job was to listen for any signals in space. Most of the time, she heard nothing but static. Jake walked over to her console. "What kind of strange?" Lisa frowned at her screen. "It's not natural. This is definitely artificial. Someone or something is sending this signal." Dr. Amanda Brooks, the ship's science officer, hurried over. She was young but brilliant, and she had joined this mission to study space phenomena. "Let me see those readings." The three of them stared at the data scrolling across the screen. The signal was unlike anything in Earth's databases. It came in patterns that repeated every few minutes, but the patterns were complex and mathematical. "This isn't random," Amanda said. "Look at these sequences. They're based on prime numbers, but they're arranged in a way I've never seen before." Tony Martinez, the ship's engineer, joined them. He was a practical man who could fix anything on the ship. "So what are you saying? That aliens are sending us math problems?" "Maybe," Amanda replied. "Or maybe they're trying to communicate. Mathematics is supposed to be universal, right? Any intelligent species should understand basic math." Jake made a decision. "Lisa, can you send a response?" "What should I send?" Amanda thought for a moment. "Start simple. Send back the first 10 prime numbers." Lisa's fingers moved over her controls. She transmitted the sequence: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29. They waited. For 20 minutes, nothing happened. Then the alien signal changed completely. "Captain," Lisa called out. "They're responding, but this is different. The signal is much stronger now and more complex." The new transmission filled their screens with data. Amanda worked frantically to decode it. "This is incredible. They're sending us mathematical concepts, but advanced ones: calculus, geometry, physics equations. They're testing us," Jake realized. "They sent us a simple pattern. We responded correctly, so now they're seeing how much we know." For the next several hours, the UES Horizon exchanged increasingly complex mathematical concepts with the unknown aliens. Amanda was amazed at how quickly the aliens learned and adapted. They seemed to understand human mathematical notation almost immediately. Then something unexpected happened. The aliens began transmitting in English. "How is that possible?" Tony asked. "We never sent them our language." "They must have been listening to our radio transmissions," Amanda said. "Earth has been broadcasting radio and television signals for over a century. If they've been watching us, they could have learned our languages." The English was simple at first, just basic words and phrases. But within hours, the aliens were sending complete sentences. The message that appeared on their screen made everyone on the bridge fall silent. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We are pleased by your intelligence and quick responses. You have passed the first test faster than any species in our records. We invite you to meet us at these coordinates for formal contact." A set of stellar coordinates followed, along with detailed instructions for safe approach. Jake immediately contacted Earth Command. Admiral Kevin Stone's face appeared on the main screen after a few minutes of transmission delay. "You're certain this is legitimate?" the Admiral asked after Jake explained the situation. "As certain as we can be, sir. The mathematics they've shown us is real and advanced. They know things about physics that we're only beginning to understand." "Admiral." Stone was quiet for a long moment. "This changes everything. We're no longer alone in the universe, and they want to meet us." Back on Earth, the news created chaos. Scientists, politicians, and military leaders argued about how to respond. Some wanted to be cautious and study the aliens from a distance. Others believed this was humanity's greatest opportunity. Dr. Helen Carter, Earth's leading expert on diplomatic relations, was called to an emergency meeting. "If we're going to make contact, we need to do this right," she told the assembled leaders. "First contact will determine humanity's relationship with these aliens for generations to come." Commander Steve Walsh, head of Earth's Space Defense Forces, had different concerns. "We don't know their intentions. This could be a trap." But Admiral Stone had already made his decision. "We're going to meet them. Captain Ryan Davis will command the UES Independence, our most advanced ship. Dr. Carter, you'll lead the diplomatic team." The UES Independence was humanity's newest and most sophisticated vessel. It had been designed for long-range exploration, equipped with the best technology Earth could produce. Captain Ryan Davis was considered one of humanity's finest officers. Calm under pressure and experienced in difficult situations. As the Independence prepared for humanity's first interstellar diplomatic mission. Nobody knew that their simple response to an alien signal had already caused massive upheaval across the galaxy. 40-7 light-years away. The Galactic Council was in emergency session. The signal that humans had answered so quickly was known as the Cognitive Assessment Protocol. It was designed to test new species that achieved space travel. Most civilizations took decades or even centuries to decode it properly. Humanity had solved it in hours. The council members, representing dozens of different alien species, were struggling to understand how this was possible. The humans had not only decoded the signal quickly, but their responses showed mathematical understanding that typically took species much longer to develop. "This is unprecedented," declared Ambassador Zeth Kar of the Vraxian Collective. "No species has ever responded this rapidly to first contact protocols." "Perhaps we underestimated them," suggested Council Speaker Valtar of the ancient Etherian race. "Our observations of Earth showed technological progress, but nothing that would indicate this level of cognitive adaptation." The Council had been watching Earth for over 2 centuries, studying human development from a safe distance. They had seen humans develop from a pre-industrial society to a spacefaring civilization in remarkably short time. But even they were surprised by humanity's rapid response to contact. "The question now," said Zeth Kar, "is whether humanity is ready for integration into galactic society." Their rapid advancement could be either a great asset or a significant risk. As the UE's Independence began its journey toward first contact, neither humans nor aliens fully understood how much this meeting would change both their civilizations. The signal from space had started as a simple mathematical sequence, but it would end up reshaping the entire galaxy. The U's Independence dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the coordinates the aliens had provided. Captain Ryan Davis stood on the bridge, looking at something that made his breath catch in his throat. A massive space station hung in orbit around a giant gas planet. The station was enormous, easily 10 times larger than anything humans had ever built. Its design was unlike anything from Earth, with flowing curves and strange materials that seemed to glow with their own light. "My God," whispered Dr. Helen Carter, standing beside him. She was Earth's top diplomat, chosen to lead humanity's first contact with alien civilization. "It's beautiful. And big enough to hold a small city," added Commander Steve Walsh, the mission's security chief. His job was to keep everyone safe, and he was already studying the station for potential threats. Dr. Craig Bennett, the team's xenobiologist, was recording everything. "The architecture suggests a species that thinks very differently from humans. Look at those curves and connections. This isn't just functional design, it's artistic." Dr. Rachel Kim, their linguist, was monitoring communication. Channels. Captain, I'm receiving a transmission in perfect English. Put it through, Ryan ordered. A calm, measured voice filled the bridge. Welcome, representatives of Earth. I am Ambassador Zethkar of the Vraxian Collective. We have been expecting you. Please approach Docking Bay 7. Your ship's systems will receive guidance signals. As the Independence moved closer to the station, the crew could see other ships docked at various points. Each vessel had a completely different design, suggesting multiple alien species were present. This isn't just first contact with one species, Helen realized. We're about to meet an entire community of alien civilizations. The docking process was surprisingly smooth. The station's technology interfaced perfectly with human systems, guiding the Independence into a bay that seemed designed to accommodate ships of various sizes and configurations. Ambassador Zethkar was waiting for them at the airlock. He was humanoid in basic shape, but clearly alien. His skin had a blue-green tint, his eyes were larger than human eyes, and he moved with a fluid grace that suggested a lighter gravity homeworld. Dr. Carter, he said, extending what appeared to be a greeting gesture. I am honored to meet humanity's diplomatic representative. Your species has already impressed us greatly. Helen stepped forward, trying to project confidence despite her nervousness. Ambassador Zethkar, on behalf of Earth and all humanity, I thank you for this opportunity. Please follow me. There are many who wish to meet you. As they walked through the station's corridors, the human team saw their first glimpses of true alien diversity. Beings of various shapes and sizes moved through the halls. Some were humanoid like Zethkar. Others were completely different. One species seemed to float rather than walk, while another moved on multiple legs like large insects. How many species are represented here? Dr. Bennett asked. 12 different civilizations have sent representatives to witness your introduction to the Galactic Council, Zethkar replied. First contact with a new species is always significant, but your rapid response to our signals has made this particularly noteworthy. They entered a large chamber where alien representatives were waiting. Helen felt overwhelmed as she realized she was looking at beings from a dozen different worlds, each representing thousands of years of separate evolution. Zethkar began introductions. May the first present the human delegation from Earth. Dr. Helen Carter leads their diplomatic mission. One by one, the alien representatives greeted the humans. There was Mordak of the crystalline hegemony, whose body seemed to be made of living crystal. Talana of the flowing ones appeared to be partially liquid, shifting shape as she moved. Grexstar of the Hive Collective spoke for his insect-like species through a series of clicks and whistles that were translated by the station's computers. We have been observing your species for some time, explained Zethkar after the introductions. The Galactic Council has protocols for monitoring developing civilizations. We watch, we study, but we do not interfere until the species reaches certain milestones. What kind of milestones? Helen asked. Interstellar travel capability, mathematical understanding beyond basic levels, and successful response to our cognitive assessment protocols. Most species require several centuries between achieving these milestones. Your species accomplished all three in a remarkably short time. Dr. Rachel Kim looked puzzled. You said you've been observing us for some time. How long? Approximately 200 of your years, Zethkar replied. We began monitoring Earth when your species first demonstrated large-scale technological development. We have watched your progress with great interest. Commander Steve Walsh stepped forward. What exactly did you observe? What do you know about? You? More than you might expect, said Mordak, his crystal body chiming as he spoke. We have monitored your communications, studied your cultural development, analyzed your technological progress. We understand your species better than most. Civilizations understand themselves when they achieve first contact. Dr. Helen Carter felt a chill. You've been watching everything? Our wars, our conflicts, our mistakes? Yes, Sethkar said simply. And also your achievements, your art, your capacity for growth and change. Every species has darkness and light. What matters is the overall trajectory of development. Talana flowed closer, her liquid form shifting. Your species shows unusual adaptability. Most civilizations develop along predictable paths. Humans seem to constantly surprise us with unexpected solutions to problems. Which brings us to the purpose of this meeting, Sethkar announced. The Galactic Council has developed standard procedures for integrating new species into our community. You will be given what we call the Standard Integration Assessment. What does that involve? Helen asked. A series of challenges designed to evaluate your species' readiness for council membership. These assessments test technological adaptation, diplomatic skills, resource management, conflict resolution, and creative problem-solving abilities. Gregstar clicked and whistled, and the translation followed. Most species require between 20 and 50 years to complete these assessments successfully. The current record is held by the Etherian race, who completed them in 23 years. Dr. Craig Bennett looked amazed. 23 years is the record? How long do we have? 1 standard galactic year, Sethkar replied. Approximately 1.3 Earth years. The human delegation exchanged glances. Helen could see concern on everyone's faces. And if we don't complete the assessments in time? Then you return to Earth and wait until your species has developed further. You may attempt the assessments again in 50 Earth years. But there's something unusual about your situation, added Mordok. Your rapid response to first contact suggests capabilities that may allow you to complete these assessments much faster than normal. Or, warned a new voice, you may fail spectacularly because you attempt to move too quickly. The humans turned to see a new alien entering the chamber. This being was tall and imposing, with features that seemed almost predatory. His presence made everyone in the room tense. This is War Commander Kalex of the Kellian Empire, Sethkar said carefully. His species believes in thorough evaluation of potential new council members. Kalex approached the humans with obvious suspicion. The Kellian Empire has concerns about your species. We have observed your tendency toward violence and rapid technological development. Such combinations can be dangerous to galactic stability. Commander Steve Walsh stepped forward, recognizing a military bearing in the alien. What specific concerns do you have? Your species achieved nuclear weapons and space travel within the same century. You fight wars while simultaneously reaching for the stars. Most species resolve their violent tendencies before achieving significant technological advancement. Dr. Helen Carter realized this was a crucial moment. War Commander Kalex, humanity has indeed struggled with conflict. But we've also shown the ability to learn, to change, to find peaceful solutions. Our presence here, choosing diplomacy over aggression, should demonstrate our intentions. Intentions can change, Kalex replied coldly. Actions over time reveal true nature, which is exactly what the assessments will determine. Sethkar interjected diplomatically. The challenges ahead will show us who humanity truly is. The meeting continued for several more hours, with various alien representatives explaining different aspects of the assessment process. The humans learned that they would be given facilities on the station and access to certain galactic technologies. To help them complete the challenges. As the formal session ended, Dr. Helen Carter felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Humanity's future in the galaxy would depend on how well they performed in the coming year. No pressure, muttered Tony Martinez, who had been quietly observing everything. Actually, said Dr. Rachel Kim, I think we might surprise them. Humans have always been good at adapting quickly to new situations. Captain Ryan Davis gathered his team. Let's contact Earth and update Admiral Stone. Then we start preparing for these assessments. We have a lot of work ahead of us. As the humans were escorted to their quarters, none of them noticed the intense discussions beginning among the alien observers. The Galactic Council representatives were already debating whether Huma. Dr. Amanda Brooks stared at the first technical challenge in disbelief. The problem seemed impossible. Design a life support system that could maintain 7 different atmospheric compositions simultaneously, each required by different alien species, all in the same physical space. They want us to create air that's breathable by beings who evolved on completely different worlds, she explained to Tony Martinez. Some need high oxygen, others need methane. Some require specific pressure levels that would kill the others. Tony scratched his head. Traditional thinking says you can't do this. You'd need separate sealed environments for each species. That's probably what most aliens would do, Amanda said. But we don't have to think like them. They had been working on the technical assessments for 3 months. The Galactic Council had given them access to advanced materials and technologies, but the problem seemed designed to be unsolvable using conventional approaches. Meanwhile, Dr. Helen Carter was tackling the diplomatic challenges with Dr. Rachel Kim. They sat in front of a complex, holographic display showing the details of a trade dispute that had been ongoing for 30 years. Let me understand this, Helen said. The Vraxian Collective wants to trade their energy crystals for the Etherian food synthesis technology. The Etherians want Vraxian crystals plus manufacturing rights to Kellian weapons. The Kellians want Etherian technology, but refuse to give manufacturing rights to anyone. And the Flowing Ones control the shipping routes, but want guarantees that none of the traded materials will be used against them, Rachel added. It's like trying to solve a puzzle where every piece changes shape when you touch it. Previous diplomatic teams have tried to negotiate compromises, Helen mused. Everyone gives up something to get something else. But what if we approach this differently? Back in the technical section, Amanda and Tony were making breakthrough discoveries. Instead of trying to create separate atmospheric zones, they were developing a new approach. What if we create modular microenvironments? Amanda suggested personal atmosphere generators that each being carries with them. The room maintains a neutral baseline, and each individual's device creates their specific atmospheric needs in their immediate area. That's brilliant, Tony said. Instead of controlling the entire space, we control the individual's personal space. It's like wearing a custom atmosphere instead of trying to make the room perfect for everyone. They worked frantically to build a prototype. The device was small enough to wear like a piece of jewelry, but it could create a personal atmospheric bubble using advanced field generators. The technology was far beyond current Earth capabilities, but by combining human engineering principles with alien materials, they made it work. When they demonstrated the device to Ambassador Zethkar, his blue-green skin actually changed color. With surprise, "This is not how this problem is usually solved," he said. "How do other species usually handle it?" Amanda asked. They build complex facilities with multiple sealed chambers connected by airlocks. The construction takes years and costs enormous resources. Your solution is portable, efficient, and could be mass-produced. Tony grinned. We humans are good at finding shortcuts. But the real test came when they demonstrated the device to representatives from all 7 species. Each alien put on the small device and immediately could breathe comfortably in the same room with the others. For the first time in the station's history, beings from 7 different worlds stood together in the same space, breathing easily. Remarkable, said Mordak, his crystalline form chiming with what sounded like approval. In 3 months, you have solved a problem that has limited interspecies cooperation for centuries. Dr. Helen Carter was having similar success with the diplomatic challenges. Instead of trying to negotiate compromises between the different species, she had identified the root cause of the trade dispute. The real problem isn't what everyone wants, she explained to the assembled alien negotiators. The problem is inefficiency in the distribution system. Everyone is fighting over limited resources, but the resources aren't actually limited. They're just not being distributed effectively. She presented her analysis to the group. The Vraxian crystals are abundant, but they're mined using methods that waste 60% of the material. The Etherian food synthesis technology is incredibly efficient, but it's only being used on 3 worlds. The Kellian weapons are effective, but they're manufactured, using processes that require too many rare materials. Your point? Asked the Kellian representative. My point is that if we improve the mining efficiency, expand the food synthesis technology, and redesign the weapons manufacturing process, everyone can have what they want without anyone giving up anything important. The aliens stared at her in silence. Finally, Zethkar spoke. You are suggesting systematic improvements rather than negotiated compromises. Exactly. Instead of dividing a small pie into smaller pieces, we make the pie bigger. Dr. Rachel Kim had been analyzing the cultural aspects of the problem. The interesting thing is that each species has developed technologies that solve their own problems very well, but they haven't considered how those technologies might be adapted to solve other species' problems. Over the following weeks, Helen's team worked with technical experts from each species to implement the improvements. The results were dramatic. Mining efficiency increased by 70%, food synthesis was expanded to 12 worlds, and weapons manufacturing costs dropped by half. This is unprecedented, admitted the Etherian representative. We have been treating this as a zero-sum negotiation for 30 years. You have made it positive-sum for everyone. But the real shock came when the Galactic Council presented the humans with the impossible scenario, a war game simulation that was designed to have no peaceful resolution. Captain Ryan Davis led the human team through the scenario briefing. The simulation involved a galaxy-wide resource crisis, with multiple species competing for dwindling energy sources. Traditional alliances were breaking down, and war seemed inevitable. The scenario has been run 847 times by different species, explained War Commander Kollex. Every attempt has ended in massive galactic conflict. The simulation is designed to test how new species handle impossible situations. What are we supposed to do? Asked Commander Steve Walsh. Minimize casualties and protect your own interests. Kollex replied, the simulation will show us how humans behave when faced with survival pressures. Captain Ryan Davis studied the scenario parameters with his team. Jake Morrison, who had been brought in as a tactical advisor, looked at the resource distribution charts. Lisa Grant analyzed the communication patterns between different species. This is interesting, Lisa said. Look at these energy consumption patterns. Some species are using 10 times more energy than they actually need for their basic requirements. And look at this, Jake added. The scarce resources aren't actually scarce. They're just not being shared efficiently between sectors. Dr. Nicole Parker, who had joined the team as a cultural analyst, made another observation. The species in this simulation are all acting according to their traditional patterns. But what if those patterns are part of the problem? Captain Davis had an idea. What if we don't play the game the way it's designed to be played? Instead of choosing sides or trying to win resources for humanity, the human team approached the simulation from a completely different angle. They analyzed why the energy crisis was happening in the first place. The problem isn't that there's not enough energy, Ryan explained to the alien observers. The problem is that the energy distribution system is based on political boundaries instead of efficiency principles. They proposed a solution that reorganized energy distribution based on logical efficiency rather than traditional territorial claims. Species with abundant energy sources would trade excess capacity to species with high energy needs, creating a galaxy-wide energy network. But this requires unprecedented cooperation, protested one of the alien advisors. Species would have to trust each other with their energy security. Yes, Ryan agreed. But they would also have guaranteed energy access and shared infrastructure protection. Everyone would be stronger and more secure than they are now. The human team didn't just solve the simulation. They redesigned the entire scenario to eliminate the underlying causes of conflict. When they presented their solution, the alien observers fell silent. Finally, Kalex spoke. "This is not how the simulation is supposed to work." "We know," Ryan replied, "but this is how it could work." Zeth approached the human team. "You have not simply passed these assessments. You have changed them. Your solutions are creating new possibilities that the Council has never considered." "Is that good or bad?" Helen asked. "We are not certain," Zethkar admitted. "Your species thinks in ways that are foreign to us. This could be extremely beneficial or extremely dangerous." As news of humanity's progress spread through the station, the alien representatives began having urgent discussions. The humans were not just completing the assessments. They were revolutionizing them. Dr. Amanda Brooks found herself in demand, as alien engineers wanted to learn her adaptation techniques. Tony Martinez was teaching efficiency principles to beings who had been building things the same way for thousands of years. "I think we're changing more than just the assessments." The emergency session of the Galactic Council was unlike anything in recorded history. Representatives from 47 different species filled the great chamber, their various forms creating a strange and beautiful display of galactic diversity. But today, the usual calm of council proceedings was replaced by heated debate. Council Speaker Veltar of the ancient Etherian race called for order. His species had been part of the council for over 10,000 years, and he had never seen such controversy over a new species evaluation. "The humans have completed all major assessments in 6 months," he announced to the assembly. "This is unprecedented in council history." War Commander Kalex of the Kalian Empire stood to speak. His imposing form commanded attention from the other delegates. "Speaker Veltar, the issue is not that they completed the assessments quickly. The issue is how they completed them. These humans have not followed established protocols. They have changed the very nature of the challenges." Ambassador Zethkar rose to respond. "War Commander, with respect, the humans found better solutions to problems we had accepted as unsolvable. Is innovation not something we should value?" "Innovation can be dangerous," Kalex replied sharply. "Rapid change destabilizes established systems. The humans show concerning patterns of accelerated development and unpredictable behavior." Mordak of the crystalline hegemony chimed in, his crystal body creating harmonic tones as he spoke. "But consider the practical benefits. The atmospheric adaptation technology alone will revolutionize interspecies cooperation. My people have been isolated on our high-pressure worlds for millennia. Now we can work directly with species we could never approach before." Talana of the Flowing Ones shifted her liquid form as she joined the debate. "The humans have solved the Vraxian trade dispute that had been deadlocked for 30 years. They have shown diplomatic skills that complement their technical abilities." "That is precisely the problem," interjected Representative Thokmarov. "The Hive Collective." His insect-like form clicked and whistled as the translation system converted his words. "They excel in every area we test. No species has ever shown such broad competence. It suggests hidden capabilities we do not understand." Council Speaker Veltar attempted to restore order as the debate grew more intense. "Perhaps we should hear from the assessment observers. Zethkar, present your detailed report." A star activated a holographic display showing human performance across all assessment categories. The data is remarkable. In technological adaptation, humans scored 94%. In diplomatic flexibility, 91%. In resource management, 89%. In conflict resolution, 96%. In creative problem solving, they exceeded our measurement scale. How is that possible? Asked Representative Quindle of the Spiral Confederation. They approach problems differently than any species we have encountered, Zethkar explained. Most species develop specialized solutions for specific problems. Humans develop adaptable solutions that work across multiple scenarios. Dr. Craig Bennett had been quietly observing the council session from the human delegation area. As a xenobiologist, he found the aliens' reactions fascinating. He turned to Captain Ryan Davis and whispered, "They're afraid of us." "What do you mean?" Ryan asked. "Look at their body language, their debate patterns. We've done everything they asked, exceeded every expectation, but instead of being pleased, they're worried. We've succeeded too well." The debate continued as various species voiced their concerns and support. The Etherian delegation argued that humanity represented a valuable addition to galactic civilization. The Kellian Empire insisted that humans were too unpredictable and potentially dangerous. Smaller species were divided, some excited by the possibilities humans offered, others worried about being overshadowed. "There is another issue we must address," announced a new voice. The chamber fell silent as ancient counselor Y.T. Ajara of the Void Watchers spoke. Her species rarely participated in council debates, observing from the shadows for thousands of years. "The humans have not simply passed our assessments," she continued in her ethereal voice. "They have demonstrated capabilities that suggest their civilization develops along fundamentally different patterns than our own." Representative Collex leaned forward. "Explain." "Most species develop in linear progression. They master one technology, then move to the next. They solve one social problem, then address another. Humans appear to develop multiple capabilities simultaneously, creating synergistic effects we have not observed before." The chamber erupted in discussion. Many council members had never heard the Void Watchers express such detailed analysis of any species. "What are the implications?" asked Speaker Veltar. "Uncertain," Ithara replied. "The humans could become our greatest allies or our most challenging problem. Their rapid adaptation makes both outcomes possible." Meanwhile, back on the station, the human team was unaware of the intense council debate. They had received news that created excitement and concern in equal measure. "A second Earth ship is arriving?" Dr. Helen Carter asked Captain Ryan Davis. "Hey, U.S. Constitution, commanded by Captain Beth Rodriguez. Admiral Stone is sending additional support personnel." Dr. Amanda Brooks looked worried. "Won't that make the aliens more nervous about our rapid expansion?" "Probably," Ryan admitted. "But Earth Command thinks we need more expertise to handle the additional projects the aliens have requested." The additional projects were the result of human success with the original assessments. Various alien species had approached the human team asking for help with problems their own civilizations had been unable to solve. Mike Thompson, an industrial engineer on the Constitution, brought specialized knowledge in large-scale manufacturing. Dr. Karen Lewis was a systems analyst who could optimize complex processes. Commander Alex Turner was a strategic planner with experience in multi-organization coordination. "The thing is," explained Tony Martinez to the new arrivals, "we're not just solving the problems they give us anymore. We're solving problems they didn't even know they had." The arrival of the Constitution and its crew demonstrated another aspect of human capability that concerned the aliens: the speed of human organizational scaling. What had started as a single-ship diplomatic mission had become a multi-ship operation. In less than a year, Ambassador Zithkar met with the expanded human delegation. "Your Earth Command works very efficiently," he observed. "When we find something important, we commit resources quickly," Captain Beth Rodriguez replied. "Waiting for perfect information usually means missing opportunities. That approach can also lead to serious mistakes," Zethkar warned. "True," Beth agreed, "but not taking action when action is needed leads to different kinds of mistakes. We'd rather make mistakes by trying than mistakes by not trying." This conversation, recorded by Council monitoring systems, would later become part of the debate about human nature and decision-making. Patterns. Dr. Karen Lewis had begun analyzing the efficiency of Council operations and made a disturbing discovery. "Captain Davis, I think you need to see this." She presented her findings to the human leadership team. "The Council's decision-making process is incredibly slow. Simple decisions take years to implement. Complex decisions can take decades. That explains some of the problems we've been asked to solve," Dr. Amanda Brooks realized. "These issues have been festering for so long because the Council system can't respond quickly to changing conditions." Commander Alex Turner studied Karen's analysis. "If we can show them more efficient organizational methods, we could help the entire galactic community become more effective. Or," warned Commander Steve Walsh, "we could threaten the stability of the system that has worked for thousands of years." The human team faced a crucial decision. They could focus on completing their assessments according to original parameters, or they could continue developing solutions that addressed broader systemic issues in galactic civilization. Dr. Helen Carter called a team meeting. "We need to be careful. Our success is making some of the aliens nervous. We don't want to appear threatening. But we also can't pretend to be less capable than we are," Captain Ryan Davis pointed out. "They asked us to demonstrate our abilities. We're doing exactly what they requested. The question is whether they're ready for what they asked for." Observed Dr. Nicole Parker. Unknown to the humans, this same question was being debated intensely in the Council chambers. Some species saw humanity's rapid progress as proof of great potential. Others saw it as evidence of dangerous unpredictability. War Commander Collix presented his faction's concerns to the full Council. "The humans show patterns that concern my military analysts. They advance too quickly, adapt too easily, and show no respect for established boundaries or limitations." "Is that not exactly what we need?" countered Zethkar. "For centuries, the Council has struggled with problems that require fresh thinking and rapid adaptation. Change must be controlled and gradual," Collix insisted. "The humans represent chaos disguised as progress." Representative Mordach's crystalline form chimed with disagreement. "War Commander, you speak of chaos, but the humans have brought only solutions. They have solved problems that have plagued us for generations. Solutions that no one asked for," Collix replied. "They were given specific assessments. Instead, they have redesigned our entire approach to interspecies cooperation." Ancient Khans. Council Speaker Veltar stood before the assembled representatives of 47 galactic civilizations. In his 10,000 years of life, he had never faced a decision quite like this one. The humans waited in a separate chamber, unaware that their fate was being decided in the most contentious council session in recorded history. "We have debated for 3 days," Veltar announced. "The time has come for a decision about humanity's place in our community." The chamber was divided into clear factions. The progressive species, led by the Vraxian Collective and supported by the crystalline hegemony, believed humanity represented an unprecedented opportunity. The conservative faction, dominated by the Kellian Empire and backed by several older civilizations, saw humans as a destabilizing force. War Commander Collix rose first to present the conservative position. "Honored Speaker, the evidence is clear. Humanity develops too rapidly, changes too quickly, and shows no respect for established protocols. They have been among us for 6 months and already seek to reorganize our entire civilization. They have also solved problems we could not solve in centuries, countered Ambassador Zethkar. Their innovations have improved life for species across the galaxy. Temporary improvements, Kalex argued, but at what cost? They disrupt stability that has maintained peace for millennia. Change without control leads to chaos. Ancient Counselor. Ithara emerged from the shadows where her people traditionally observed. When the Void Watchers spoke, everyone listened. War Commander Kalex speaks of stability, but what he describes is stagnation. The Council has become so focused on maintaining order that we have stopped growing. The chamber fell silent. Criticism of Council operations was extremely rare, especially from a species as respected as the Void Watchers. Continue, Ancient Counselor, Speaker Valtar requested. For thousands of years, we have followed the same procedures, used the same technologies, thought the same thoughts. We have achieved peace through predictability. But predictability without growth is not life. It is merely existence. Representative Mordok's crystalline form chimed in agreement. The humans have shown us possibilities we had forgotten existed. They reminded us that problems we accepted as permanent could actually be solved. And what happens when they decide? Our governments are inefficient? Demanded Representative Thokmar. When they conclude our social systems need improvement? Where does the reforming impulse end? Perhaps, suggested Talana of the Flowing Ones, her liquid form shifting thoughtfully, we should ask them. This suggestion created another wave of debate. Bringing the humans into council deliberations was unprecedented. New species traditionally waited outside while their fate was decided. The humans have already broken most of our precedents, observed Representative Quindle. Perhaps it is time to break another. Speaker Veltar made a decision that would be remembered for millennia. Summon the human delegation. Captain Ryan Davis led the human team into the great council chamber. Dr. Helen Carter walked beside him, followed by the other key members of their mission. The sight of 47 different alien species in heated debate was overwhelming. Humans of Earth, Speaker Veltar addressed them formally, your presence here represents an unusual situation. The Council is divided about your future role in galactic civilization. War Commander Kalex stepped forward aggressively. Captain Davis, your species shows concerning patterns of rapid development and systematic change. How do we know you will not attempt to reform our entire civilization according to your preferences? Ryan exchanged glances with Helen before responding. War Commander, we came here to learn about galactic civilization, not to change it. But when we see problems we can solve, it's difficult for us to ignore them. That attitude is exactly what concerns us. Kalex replied. Dr. Helen Carter spoke up. May I ask a question? How long has the trade dispute we solved been ongoing? 30 years, admitted Zethkar. And the atmospheric compatibility problem? Centuries, replied Mordok. These weren't problems you were actively working on, Helen observed. They were problems you had accepted as unsolvable. We didn't interfere with your ongoing efforts. We addressed issues that had been abandoned. Dr. Amanda Brooks added, we understand the concern about rapid change. But consider this. We're offering solutions, not demanding that you accept them. You can choose which innovations to adopt and which to reject. Ancient Counselor Ithara moved closer to the human delegation. An interesting perspective. You see yourselves as offering options rather than imposing changes. Exactly, confirmed Captain Ryan Davis. Our goal is to be helpful partners, not disruptive forces. War Commander Kalex was not satisfied. But your very presence is disruptive. You complete in months what takes other species decades. You solve problems we have lived with for centuries. How do we integrate such rapid development with our stable systems? Dr. Nicole Parker, who had been studying galactic social patterns, stepped forward. War Commander, may I suggest that the problem isn't our speed of development, but your assumption. That development must be slow? The chamber buzzed with shocked murmurs. No new species had ever questioned fundamental council assumptions so directly. Explain, demanded Collex. Most of your species developed on stable worlds with predictable environments, Ecole said. You had the luxury of developing slowly and carefully. Earth is different. We evolved on a world of constant change. Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, climate shifts, asteroid impacts. Species that couldn't adapt quickly didn't survive. You are saying your rapid development is evolutionary necessity? Asked Ithara with obvious interest. Partly, yes, but also cultural choice. Humans learned to value flexibility and innovation because rigidity meant extinction. We don't change things because we're destructive. We change things because we've learned that adaptation equals survival. Speaker Veltar had been listening carefully to the exchange. The question before us is whether galactic civilization is ready for such adaptation. With respect, Speaker, said Dr. Helen Carter, perhaps the question is whether galactic civilization can afford not to adapt. You've told us about problems that have existed for centuries. Wars that repeat the same patterns. Resources wasted on inefficient systems. Species isolated by technological limitations. These problems exist because you have achieved stability at the cost of growth, added Captain Ryan Davis. We're not suggesting you abandon stability. We're suggesting you can have both stability and progress. The debate continued for hours, with various council members questioning the humans about their intentions, capabilities, and long-term goals. Through it all, the human delegation remained calm and thoughtful, addressing each concern directly. Finally, Speaker Veltar called for the decision. The Council will vote on humanity's status. But first, we must address the unprecedented nature of this situation. He turned to face the human delegation. Never before has a species completed our assessments so rapidly or so thoroughly. Your performance has exceeded our measurement capabilities in several categories. This presents us with an unprecedented choice. We can offer you standard council membership, beginning with observer status and gradually increasing your participation over several centuries. This is our normal procedure. Or, asked Captain Ryan Davis, or we can acknowledge that normal procedures do not apply to your species. We can offer immediate full membership with voting rights and access to all council technologies and resources. The chamber erupted in shocked discussion. Immediate full membership was unheard of. However, Veltar continued, such membership would come with unprecedented responsibilities. You would serve as the Council's rapid response team for technological and diplomatic crises. You would be called upon to address problems that other species have been unable to solve. Dr. Helen Carter looked at her team. This was far more than they had expected. There is one more condition, added War Commander Collex. If you accept full membership, you must also accept council oversight of your development. Your rapid advancement requires monitoring to ensure galactic stability. What kind of oversight? Ryan asked. Regular reporting on technological developments, advance notice of major policy changes, and council input on projects that could affect multiple species. Captain Ryan Davis requested time to consult with Earth Command. After 3 hours of awe, quantum communication with Admiral Kevin Stone, and Earth's leadership, the human delegation had their answer. Speaker Veltar, honored council members, Ryan announced. Earth accepts full membership in the Galactic Council, along with all the responsibilities and oversight it entails. The vote was close, 26 species in favor, 18 opposed, 3 abstaining. But it was enough. As the ceremonial signing took place, Captain Beth Rodriguez arrived from the Constitution with news that would shock the Council even further. Captain Davis, Admiral Stone sends his congratulations and instructions for our next mission. What mission? We're to investigate ancient ruins in the galactic core. Apparently, there are archaeological mysteries there that have puzzled council scientists for thousands of years. Ambassador Zethkar overheard this exchange. The progenitor. Ruins? Those have been studied by our best researchers for millennia. Well, said Dr. Amanda Brooks with a smile, they haven't been studied by human researchers. As the